Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, Lagos records 2 major fire incidents on Sunday as emergency agencies call for vigilance as the new dry season sets in. Nigerian Army reiterates its determination for an improved military-civilian relationship in the country. UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed asked Nigeria to invest more in education of girls in order to boost its development. And Iraqi government forces seize several villages as they move towards an assault in the last area held by the Islamic State in Mosul. Those are pictures from much earlier. Goods worth millions of naira being destroyed in a fire incident that gutted the popular Adekunle sawmill in the Butameta area of Lagos. Residents say the fire started from a surge after the restoration of power by the Power Holding Company of Nigeria. Although no life was lost in the incident, the traders say they would want a permanent solution to the recurring cases of fire incidents in the market over the last couple of years.
For like 24 hours, they did not took the lights. Yes. And I think some wires has got spoiled already. So the time they bring the second one, the fire just burst up. This place, fire have caught it almost 5 times. And people has not taken any action about it.
Meanwhile, emergency agencies in Lagos and Ogun State say they have attended to about 50 different disasters between Friday and Sunday. These disasters, according to the National Emergency Management Agency, include a fire outbreak at Arida National Plastic Company, Oshodi, Lagos State on Sunday, a car explosion in Abeokuta, and a wild bushfire in Ogun State, both on Saturday, and the fire outbreak at CMS Bookshops in Lagos also on Saturday. According to NEMA, 5 deaths have been recorded so far in all the incidents. The agency is therefore imploring on Nigerians to be safety conscious and guided against using safe practice. Are being advised to use guided against unsafe practices as the new phase of dry season sets in. Our parents and schools have also been advised to educate children and the elderly about basic safe actions. To other news now, as part of efforts at rebuilding the northeastern part of the country destroyed by the Boko Haram militants, the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative has been in Yobe State to hand over some repaired structures. Led by its Deputy Chairman, Tijani Tumsa, the committee also presented some food items to be distributed to people displaced by the insurgency in the state, with the aim of making life more comfortable for them.
When the Boko Haram insurgents were on full-scale rampage, they left nothing to desire. The one-time destruction also took a toll on police barracks. As peace gradually returns to the once epicenter of violence, life is also gradually returning. But full restoration to a befitting place of abode is still a challenge here at the police barracks. In that vein, the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative is helping with food items, rebuilding some structures, especially at the police station, but more needed to be done.
It will empower us. It will give us a conducive atmosphere to work. No doubt about it. And that is very, very paramount in giving our best. very, very paramount. That's not that way we would derive empowerment in doing our job better if we had no place to lay our heads. Shelter is one of the requirements of human beings. Basic requirements of human beings, shelter, both office and living, so that you can get your best.
The deputy chairman of the PCNI, Tijani Tomsa, on the other hand, says they have just started and assured that the committee is poised to actualizing its mandate of restructuring and rebuilding the Northeast better than it was.
The federal government under the president, Muhammadu Buhari, has established this committee, that is the Northeast Initiative, Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative, which is chaired by General T.Y. Danjuma, and we are committed to working in a transparent and accountable manner in delivery of goods and services for the victims of insurgency. The Northeast is particularly affected by the activities of the past 6 years, and the government is resolved to recovering all structures and the livelihoods of people resident within that region.
The task to rebuild the Northeast is by no means a tea party. So much is required in terms of structures, reintegration, and lasting peace. It does require continuous effort and assessment by designated agency plus public contributions. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
The Nigerian Army is not relenting in its efforts at improving military-civil relations. The brigade commander, 34 Artillery Brigade Command of the Nigerian Army, Obinze in Imo State, Brigadier General K. Ishaku, on the sidelines of a conference, says gone are the days when men in uniform could easily take advantage of civilians unnoticed. He explains that the follow-up on an incident in Anambra State where 2 soldiers assaulted a physically challenged person is a lesson for men in uniform.
It's unfortunate that the incident happened in Onitsha, and the world has come of age now. It's a global village now. Whatever it is you do, even in your bedroom, it is seen all over. And what I do, and I talk to my men every day, because virtually every week I have meeting with my men, and every month I have meeting Doba, they call it. And I also emphasize that my commanders should have Dobas with their men, is to tell and educate our men that we are part of the society, and we are from them, and we'll still go back to them. And if you think you are in a world of your own, it's a lie, because you still go back to them, and we obey democracy. So you don't on your own say you want to take laws into your hands. There are laws guiding you. I will tell you that the laws binding on me is much more than even the ordinary person you see on the streets, the bylaws and everything you see. So you must be an exemplary person. And thankfully we have a chief of army staff that does not take that. You can see when it happened in this thing, immediately the commanders there were asked to fish out those people, and they were dealt with accordingly. And that is what I tell my men. I say, look, you are a human being first before you wore this uniform, and you still remove this uniform and go back to them. So if you feel you molest these people, it will still come back to you.
The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has blamed the recent drop in power generation on acts of vandalism on gas pipelines at the Ihobo power plant in Edo State. Mr. Fashola made the claims during an inspection of the 14-kilometer Benin-Lokoja Road reconstruction project at the Aduawa axis in Benin City, the Edo State capital, as part of his assessment of projects being handled by his ministry in the state. Meanwhile, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Schreiber, called for quick intervention on the failed portions of the Benin-Auchi Road, among other dilapidated roads in the state.
Work is ongoing from the Aduawa axis of the 14-kilometer Benin-Lokoja Road reconstruction project. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, with his assessment team, arrived to see the level of work done so far. The team is currently on a tour of federal government project sites in Edo State. First to present his reports to the minister is the Federal Controller of Works in Edo State, Mr. Owe. Okay.
All sections of the works have been done in Auchi. Up to 12 kilometers of the new carriageway has been constructed on the road, and the work has progressed up to binder course. Traffic is currently using the new carriageway.
The next report is from the Power Ministry. This, the minister decides to to handle himself. He says vandalism of gas pipelines has had a negative impact on power generation.
There is about 3,000 megawatts of power that is not available because of vandalization. That is not helpful to the country. So if we add that 3, if we can recover that 3 and add it to the 4,000 we have now, the nation will get to 7,000. That's the kind of progress that is imminent. So we need peace everywhere in the Niger Delta, in this state, in all of Nigeria. We cannot continue to destroy something and then say it's unavailable to us.
In his reaction, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Honorable Philip Shaibu, while lauding the choice of projects ongoing across the state, appeals for urgent repairs of some badly damaged roads.
There is one other place that we need to look at as we go now. I'll show you. Just by Ramat, between Ramat Park and the river here, is keeping it, and we need to do something quick. So that we don't.
That's what you said, the retention wall.
Yes, so that we don't have another
There is an instant response to one of his requests, an on-the-spot assessment of the Obaslope Gully erosion site. The Housing Minister, Babatunde Fashola, pledges a quick resolution to the problems as well as completion of all ongoing projects in Edo State.
The UN Deputy Secretary General, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, says Nigeria needs to invest in women alongside men if it hopes to fly high and develop. She was speaking at the 50th anniversary lecture of the late Ambassador Issa Wali, where she said girls and boys must be given equal opportunities, especially in education, as focusing on girls and leaving the boys out will create more problems in the future for women.
From the pre- and post-independence period, traditional and political leaders, elderly diplomats, legal luminaries and other dignitaries converged on Abuja to mark the 50th anniversary of the late Ambassador Issa Wali. Late Ambassador Wali, a known advocate for women's rights and vocal critic of injustices in the 50s and 60s, served as an ambassador to Ghana during the independence of Nigeria. He was a close confidant, a friend, brother and a father to many who, even 50 years on, describe him with such words as decent, courageous, revolutionary, sound intellectual and patriotic, among others.
An encounter with the late Ambassador Issa Wali left you aglow, as if you've been touched by the wings of a passing angel.
Totally straightforward, honest, to the point, but also very humorous when it comes to issues that affect life.
He wrote against polygamy. He wrote for the equality of men and women in Islam. He supported the education of women and the rights of women to earn a living.
A revolutionary, somebody who was patriotic, he made patriotic throughout his life.
The legacies left by the late ambassador were the highlights of the anniversary lecture, developing a great nation by ensuring the protection and empowerment of women and girls, as well as the youth.
When we talk about the nation's greatest assets, it is our people. And in doing that, it's our human resource base. And a nation like ours that wants to fly high cannot do so on one wing. Investments today are made in our men and not in our women. And that bird will surely not fly. And so we must encourage that to happen. I think it's important that we really look at the issues around our regional disparities, not just the gender disparities.
The legacies and memories are kept alive by the Issa Wali Empowerment Initiative, an organization that empowers Nigerian women, youth and children to rise above poverty and economic hardships, a task they have performed over 7 years with the support of notable Nigerians, including the Vice President.
Our nation needs more dreamers like him. Definitely, our nation needs more dreamers, more men of vision, more men and women who are prepared to do some of the things that we see the Issa Wali Empowerment Initiative doing today.
transforming the lives of vulnerable groups by providing access to improved healthcare, education, economic empowerment programs that enhance capacity building and economic self-reliance is the initiative's key focus. Tasks the UN Deputy Secretary General believes Nigeria must pay keener attention to develop. Omelogo Nadi Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, a look at the expectations of the Ogoni people of Rivers State as the federal government begins the cleanup of the area. Do join us again.